All right. Are we live? Welcome to today's Q&A, you guys. We are live here for an opportunity to have you ask your questions and get them answered. So welcome, my name is Jessie. I'm with Decker Truckline, and we've been in business since 1931. Yeah, 1928, unofficially. Anyways, welcome to Decker. And as always, if you guys have any questions, we do this every week. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat and I will go ahead and answer them as they come in. If you're wondering about specific positions that we have, really the easiest way to go about that is if you could include your zip code or your city and state and the amount of experience you have, that would make it a lot easier because then I can be more accurate with what we have available out of your area. So we'll start there. How's that? All right. Excellent. All right. Hey, Katie, how are you? All right. Well, there's a few things that I wanted to go over today. Obviously, as the questions come in, I'll stop with whatever else I'm talking about just to make sure that we're addressing your questions first and foremost. But it is Operation Safe Driver Week. So I want to make sure that you guys are ready and prepared as always for that. And the joke is that this is the week that the law enforcement is out and doing their job. But in reality, we hope that you guys are doing this on a regular basis as well as, obviously, the officers. But Operation Safe Driver Week, the focus is more in reduce speed, making sure that we're not speeding, that we don't have distracted driving and all of that. With that being said, make sure that you are either listening to this on a hands-free device or watching it when you're not driving to be safe, right? But Operation Safe Driver Week has been into effect, I believe, since 2008. And the increased numbers of unsafe driving, especially within the last year, have been significant enough to make sure that this continues year after year. We want to make sure that we are doing our part in reducing not only the violations, but the fatalities that have been involved or have been a factor with speeding and distracted driving being a factor. So 94% of all traffic crashes are a result of drivers and they're speeding or they're distracted driving. In the last 24 months, actually last 12 months, 24% of roadway fatalities has increased, over 24%. And the miles, this is what surprises me, is even though the amount of fatalities has increased to 24%, which is significant, the miles have decreased, which during the pandemic, our miles were really, really high, right? I mean, I think most drivers out there, if you guys were working during the years of the pandemic or during those months, you recognize how high or how heavy the miles were for most companies, right? But yet, within the industry, across the industry, miles have dipped. They've dipped roughly about 13%. And the fatalities, however, have increased. That just doesn't make sense. That just means that we are having these distractions, or are we tired? What's the factor? We need to figure out what those factors are, and that's where knowing or targeting our behaviors comes into play. Here at Decker Truckline, we do have both inward and outward facing event recorders. It's part of the Lytx system, and that does help to understand more of what our drivers are experiencing on a regular basis. Like, are they reacting with hard braking? Is there erratic lane changes? What is it that they're doing on a regular basis that we've seen that could be affecting their driving habits? And the Lytx system does just that. It kind of breaks it down for you. So anyways, we want to kind of touch base on that and reflect on that, I should say, so that we can all improve. And that's the nice thing about our Lytx system, or our safety features in the truck, is that we can recognize what we're doing and then make adjustments from then on out. with the lytic system that we have in the truck, and every company can basically set the parameters a little bit different. Ours is not a live feed, but it does still allow us to record when there are critical events. So it'll trigger a critical event, start recording, and our drivers and our safety department can learn from that. So, Jesse Witten, how are you? Hope you're doing well. So you're out of Macon. Yes, Macon, Georgia. I've got a couple options. I've got the over-the-road flatbed option right now, which would get you home about every other weekend. We've got a terminal in Bessemer, Alabama for flatbed, and that's where you'll be dispatched out of. However, orientation is all in Fort Dodge, Iowa. So you'd go up to Fort Dodge for orientation. We take care of your transportation, whether it be a flight or a rental car. We'll take care of your hotel and your meals while you're here. We pay you $500 for completing orientation. That is with the requirement that that is a requirement that you have at least a year of tractor trailer experience or a minimum of 6 months of flatbed for this position. So yes, it is a flatbed position. It's over the road, home every other weekend, and your rate of pay per mile is going to be based on your experience. So Tim says, send pics your way. Awesome. Operation Safe Driver Week. Yes. Tim are you headed to Walcott? Because I know you said you were in Missoula yesterday, but Walcott's, starts what? The 13th? Starts on Thursday? Yeah, I was wondering. All right. She's got him. Excellent. We're moving in the right direction. All right. So, yes, Operation Safe Driver Week that's the focus, is making sure that we are not being distracted, that we are improving on our pre-trips and our pre-trips, post-trips always. But it's the driving itself that we want to continue to be aware of, obeying the traffic signs, the speed limits, the traffic control devices, no drunk driving or drug driving by any means, no aggressive driving, no road rage, things like that law enforcement is putting that emphasis on. Tim says still no cops. So yesterday he went from South Dakota over to Missoula. He's like, yep, no cops here. Zachary was disagreeing. But he was in Idaho at the time. Tim says, on my way to Portland. All right, okay. Yeah, see, I thought you were going. All right, well, maybe next year, right? Maybe next year. All right. Congratulations, by the way, to speaking of next year and always working to improve, congratulations to Corey Jeltic. He is our MTA, Montana Trucking Association, Maintenance Tech of the Year for 2022. That was announced here this last month. Now, Corey was serving at the National Guards in Great Falls during that time, so he was not able to accept the award at the time. But if you're following us on Facebook, you'll see that his picture, along with Liam and Ken. So Liam and Ken are standing together at the Missoula terminal right after he accepted the award from Jason, which there's also a picture of Jason as well. Now, Jason is appointed the vice president of the Montana Trucking Association Board of Directors, so congratulations to Jason as well. And of course, to all of Decker Truck Line who have participated in the running the miles. Tim, that's you. Running the miles inside the state of Montana. We had anywhere between 1.5 and 2.5 million miles of safe miles. That was a third place award that we received here in 2022. So congratulations to Decker for all of that. So yes. Also, congratulations to Tom Potter. We had our referral bonus last week. If you guys remember that, the referral bonus, if you break it down, all the details, you get paid within 90 days. You get $1,500 per referral that hires on or who hires on. And it's $250 at first dispatch, pays $250 after they've been here for 30 days, pays $500 after 60 days, and $500 after 90 days. And anybody who refers somebody within that quarter will get your name put into a drawing, and you get a chance to win a laptop, tablet, or $1,000. Thomas, his name was drawn. He chose $1,000. Why not, right? Congratulations. Virginia Chowdhury, Chaudhry. Hang on. My comments are moving. 75 East Cops all night and way stations open. It's full effect. All right, so Virginia's going to disagree with you, Tim. He says all going on. Oh, yep, I hear you. Correction, 74 East, he says. Excuse me. Yep. Yeah. So, also with the referral bonus, there's a lot of incentives along the way. You get tumblers. Here's my tumbler. You can get a tumbler. You can get business cards at Decker. Business cards. These are kind of nice to just hand out. And when you're stopped at a truck stop and maybe you got to get going and they had some questions, you don't want to lose that opportunity at a referral. I mean, $1,500 is $1,500, right? So when it comes to referrals, our top referrer last year was Sonny Henry. Sonny made an extra $11,000 actually all within the third quarter of last year, and just in referrals alone. So not too shabby, right? Definitely an opportunity for you guys, especially when people are coming up to you and asking you questions, which is really common because for most of you, for some of you who might not know, Decker, we're known for our equipment is one of the many things that we're known for. So our equipment, our pay, our retention, our driver-focused atmosphere, basically. I don't know if anybody's going to throw out atmosphere, but definitely our driver focus and making sure that our trucks are designed, are equipped, I should say, with the most driver comforts as possible. You guys are out on the road, anywhere from 7 to 10 days to 3-4 weeks at a time, sometimes more for some of you. And we want to make sure that you are comfortable because there is going to be some downtime. In our refrigerated divisions, we've got some live unloads. And if you've noticed how the economy has kind of adjusted a little bit, there is more wait time throughout the industry. And we want to make sure that you can relax and chill when you have your downtime, on your 10. So we've got APUs and refrigerators and microwaves and TVs and satellite television. We have Sirius Radio that's available to you. We have free Wi-Fi. Did I mention that? We have CB units in all of the trucks. They're double bunk trucks, so they're roomier. They've got better storage. I know most of you guys use the double bunks for the storage and not actually for the bunk itself, but they're all there. Tim says, yep, I guess that's why I work night, not days. Yep, that makes a big difference. Yeah, law enforcement, you're going to see more during the day. So, yep, absolutely. So the trucks are really well equipped. And I know that people are always stopping some of our drivers and saying, hey, man, nice truck. Tell me more about your company. And it opens up an opportunity for you guys for the referrals. And that is why we pay you for the referrals, is you're taking the moment to talk to them. I know you're not going to be able to give them specifics like the rate of pay or what the hiring area is. That changes, so that's why you want to reach out to one of the recruiters. And actually the telephone number that you're seeing right here, this 877-433-2537, that's the telephone number to the recruiting department. And if you want to just give them a call, then they'll be able to answer the questions based off of, yes, we hire out of that area, no, we don't, and what your rate of pay per mile is based off of the amount of experience that you have. So the recruiting department. Plus, they can give you the details on the benefits. Benefits start after 60 days. It's Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's an 80-20 plan. We have dental, vision, prescription as well. We have a $0 generic prescription. And I know for a fact that there are some specialty and some brand names that fall under that $0 generic. So if it's something that you're concerned about, something that you already are taking or you're going to need to, you want to check those out, make the phone call, find out if it's covered, then I would highly suggest that. But get a hold of one of the recruiters and they can give you the benefits package so that you can go through and make sure that insurance is going to be good coverage for you. Personally, I feel that that's always nice to know before making the transition. And we do have one of the best insurances out there within the trucking industry for sure. Plus, our vacation package, that changed about a year ago, where you'll get a week of vacation within the first 6 months of working here at Decker. Plus, you'll get another week after your 1 year, anniversary, you'll get 2 weeks available to you after you've been here for three years. After you've been here for 7 years, you'll get 3 weeks available. Of course, you get annual vacation, but it increases at 3 and 7 years. So again, get a hold of the recruiters for more details on that. 877-433-2537. They'll be able to give you specifics off of that. But again, when we're coming back to the trucks and the equipment itself, most of them are 579 Peterbilts. We have some 860, 780, 760 Volvos, and a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. They're newer model. Yes, we have some 2024s coming in. You'll probably see some of those circulating. Most of them are going to be 21, 22s, and 23s. I believe we have a few 20s in there that are getting circulated out as well. So we'll be moving those out of there for you. All right. The orientation itself, it starts on Mondays. It's a 3-day orientation, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, you're usually getting dispatched out. However, if you're an inexperienced driver, so if you're a student just coming from just graduating, we do a reimbursement up to $6,000. And we would actually require you to do a full week of orientation versus a 3-day orientation. Plus, in addition to the orientation, you'll have about 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer. So orientation pays $500 for the week of orientation for a student, and training is $700 a week. And then after your training, that's when you'll be transitioned from the $700 for training to the $1,000 minimum for your weekly pay. Now, as an experienced driver, it's a 3-day orientation. You'll go over a lot of the same information initially. You'll still have your online orientation that you'll do before you get to orientation. You'll still have your physical and your drug test. You'll have the hair follicle when you get here, but the physical and drug test we like to do before you arrive in orientation. And then the driving test, of course, when you get here. You'll meet with several of the different departments. And the reason we do that is so that you have a better understanding of the company. You know, really the idea of cross-training without having to do all of the training for the different departments, but it's good to get to know what they do, how they work for you, how they support you, and that's why you're meeting with the maintenance department and safety, operations, communications. All of these different departments are working with you to just get optimal success, whether it be in the miles that you're getting, the equipment, making sure that the equipment is taking good care of you. I mean, because that's important. You guys are relying on this night and day, and our maintenance staff does a phenomenal job and shout out again to Corey, as one of our 2022's MTA's Maintenance Tech of the Year. But we have a great maintenance staff in addition to Fort Dodge, Missoula, Bessemer, Des Moines. We've got we've got support in Sperry and Minneapolis, Hammond. So we do have a strong support system for you. It's 24/7 maintenance support. Plus we have our round-the-clock driver service, yes, but around-the-clock night ops and your normal 8 to 5, 7 to 5 operations during the week as well. So you've got that support no matter what that you can rely on. If you guys have any questions about the specifics in your area, again, it's 877-433-2537 to get a hold of one of the recruiters. All right, so we talked about equipment. We talked briefly about orientation, what that entails. We spoke about some of the benefits. I kind of jumped ahead from the benefits to some of the equipment and orientation, but I should remind you that we do have a 50% match on the 401k if you take advantage of that. That is optional, but that is a 50% match for you. I'm looking at the comment here. Tim says that's why he works nights, not days. Yeah, we do run nights. It depends on the division and more of where you're running. But we do have a lot of drivers who prefer to run nights because it's less traffic. It's just more convenient. They don't have to rush. They're managing their clock better. They're in more control of their clock, fewer factors. So that is an option. If you are someone who does not run nights, period, we might not be a good fit for you, because there are runs that require you to run nights. Maybe not all night, but you are running, kind of straddling nighttime in some of those runs. So just be well aware of that. If you have restrictions or requirements or suggestions, I guess, that you don't want, make sure that you talk to the recruiter ahead of time. Because if we can't live up to that expectation, we don't want to lead you to believe that we can. So we want to make sure that those expectations are laid out, the ones from us and the ones from you, so that you're coming aboard with a great understanding of what Decker has to offer and how we can help boost you in and continue to learn and grow within the trucking industry. So Jalen says driver facing cameras. Yes, Jalen, we do have both inward and outward facing event recorders. If you missed it earlier, I did mention, though, those are not a live feed. So it's through the Lytx system. And the Lytx, you can set some of those parameters, and ours are not set for a live feed. So what happens is, if there's a critical event, like hard braking or following too close, because the sensor will guide or will notice that. So that's not the camera that identifies that. That's the sensor. And then it would kick on for that inward and outward recording. What else can I tell you about that? There's a lot of parameters that you can set with that Lytx system, and we've chosen not to do the live feed. So yeah, but it does help, and especially we notice that we can implement it quite a bit within a week like now, which is Operation Safe Driver Week. What we've learned from driver habits, whether it's one particular driver who can improve their habits, maybe they've followed too close for the longest time and we're wondering why they were having to replace their brakes more often. I don't know. I know I'm just totally throwing that out there, but as an example, those are driver behaviors that we can learn from and we can improve from. If somebody is passing you and you start to speed up and not let them pass, that's also a driver behavior that you might not recognize that you do, but it might be giving you anxiety when you start to see someone pass and you're like, oh, that those are all things that can be recognized. So the benefits of the Lytx system. So any other questions on those, Jalen? Feel free to ask. And our recruiting department, again, that telephone number is 877-433-2537 to get a hold of one of the recruiters. Lots of safety features in the truck, and convenience factors in the truck. So convenience-wise, microwaves, we've added that here in the last couple of years. We've also added the satellite TV and the television, so it's 22-inch. And now we're all, and of course APU, but we're all double bunk now as well, which was a big deal. We have a lot of amenities, and I don't know if you're going to compare us to other companies out there that may not have those amenities. Keep in mind that when we're able to improve our fuel compliance, our mileage, then that allows us to take those savings and reinvest it into the company and into the equipment for you. So your due diligence and what you've done to help improve those numbers has allowed us to offer this equipment. Because like I said, I know that the equipment is something that really is an eye catcher for many. I mean, some of those yellow Peterbilts, people are like, dang, those are nice. Others are like, no way, I like the red ones. And yes, it's red. I get asked, is that orange? No, it's red. So anyways, if you have questions, if you're wondering about any of the safety features or the amenities, if you aren't kind of scrolling around our YouTube and checking out some of our videos, then get a hold of the recruiting department at 877-433-2537 to take a look at it and kind of get a little bit more detail on it. So, all right, we spoke a little bit about equipment, orientation, benefits. We can talk a little bit about hiring area. I know we talked in the Macon, Georgia area that we have our over-the-road flatbed. Let me kind of define our positions for you. Depending on where you live, I might have multiple options. Iowa is a prime example of that. Iowa, I have over-the-road refrigerated available to you. I have a more regional refrigerated available to you, or more home time, getting you home every 7 to 10 days versus every 2 to 3 weeks. We have flatbed that can get you home on a weekly basis, and not only get you home on a weekly basis, but we can get you a minimum of $1,450 a week for that flatbed division instead of the $1,000 a week, which are over-the-road flatbed and our over-the-road refrigerated and our more regional refrigerated offer that minimum amount. And then we've got, of course, our over-the-road flatbed available to you out of Iowa. Wherein, if you move over to the Missoula, Montana area, we have over-the-road refrigerated. We do have a team opportunity as well. So if you're looking for team, we've got a great opportunity right now. Get a hold of the recruiting department. We have one team position available. Like I said, all of our trucks are double bunk, so you're going to get a double bunk. We've got 860s, 780s, 760s. I had to think about this. For Peterbilts, we have some, or for Volvos, we have 579 Peterbilts. We have a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions, but I have one team position available. You get paid the mileage pay every single Friday, direct deposit, and you get a bonus on your mileage about every the third pay period of every month, thereabout. So if you run over 12,000 miles, then you're going to get anywhere from 2 to 8 cents more on all the miles that you completed for the month as a team. Now, most of our teams are running about 25,000 for the month. 24 to 26,000 a month is pretty on par there for our teams. And that just gives you an idea of an extra 8 cents a mile on all of those miles. So that is a combination. That team position is a combination of over-the-road freight and dedicated freight, because you could be covering some dedicated runs. Now, on the dedicated freight, I do want to give you a heads up that in our refrigerated divisions, it's no-touch freight, right? With the exception of the dedicated team refrigerated position. That is a bread load. You roll the carts off and you roll the empties back on. So that is going to be the difference between our over-the-road refrigerated freight and that dedicated team freight that you'd be going back and forth from. But the pay is going to be the same. Now, however, if you're going to be rolling the carts on and rolling it off, it's going to be an extra $50 towards you for lumbering, basically. What's another option for you? Flatbed, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you live so this is going to be a dedicated position. This is dedicated flatbed. It does still guarantee that minimum of $1,000 a week, but it is so it's $1,000 a week, but your rate of pay per mile can exceed, and the miles you run can exceed that $1,000 for sure. And this dedicated one, you'd probably see that quite a bit because you guys are running hard on it. So keep in mind, we're hiring for a Nashville, Arkansas dedicated position out of Nashville, Arkansas, Nashville, Arkansas, Monroe, Louisiana, I believe Shreveport, Dallas, Texas. Those are the areas that we're hiring out of for that dedicated. We have only 2 positions available, but we do hire out of each of those areas for that specific dedicated position. It's home weekly and it's flatbed. You will be required to tarp and secure. We do require that you have a very minimum of 1 year of flatbed experience. Actually, in that one, we might actually require 2, now that I say that. So get a hold of one of the recruiters and get the specifics on that position. If you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas area, Nashville, Arkansas, or the Texarkana area, Shreveport, or Monroe, Louisiana. All right? All right, 877-433-2537. That'll get you them. What else? Question? What am I missing? Oh, so those are my 2 dedicated or semi-dedicated. Flatbed is definitely a dedicated one. the Teams refrigerated is a portion of both. So a little bit of both of those. Mm-hmm. Our Midwest flatbed does offer you home weekly. And you're running a lot of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Texas. No, not as much Texas, excuse me. Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota. Those are all areas that you run quite a bit in that home weekly Midwest flatbed division. Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything there on the current positions. Well, I'm doing some thinking about that. Let me bounce on over. If you are part of the Decker family and you have not completed your quarterly training, make sure you guys get that done. You have until the 3rd of August to complete your quarterly training. And that is going to be on, obviously, safe driving, injury prevention techniques, cybersecurity, tire maintenance, and thankfully the guys have put together a couple of videos on tire maintenance and weighing your truck. You can get the CatScale app on your phone, on the tablet, and make sure that you're logged in so that you can weigh the truck. Makes it easier. As long as you're weighing the truck and you've got a receipt, you've got it on your phone, then if you're heavy, if you've made those adjustments, and you are somehow ticketed for being heavy, even though it's showing that you are not, then you are not responsible for that expense. However, if you don't, then that could fall back on you. So protect yourself and make sure that you are weighing your truck. Injury prevention. Speaking of protecting yourself, there are several exercises out there to help prevent injury. One really big one is stretching. Just basic, slow stretching techniques that can help prevent injuries. Walking, continuing to have a daily movement activity is going to be good. Breathing techniques, also very good, help with injury prevention. And sometimes it's just slowing down. And I probably am guilty of this in many ways, but just slow yourself down. When you're getting in and out of the truck, you always have the 3 points of contact. You are facing the truck as you lower yourself down. You're not jumping off of the flatbeds. I mean, how many of you guys in your 40s and 50s are recognizing that your knees are more valuable than you realized when you were in your 20s, right? Yeah, jumping off that, just not really an option for many of us. So make sure that you guys are following through. If you are part of the Decker family and you're receiving the Decker newsletter, Kitty did put a link in there with some exercises for injury prevention. So that was really helpful too. So check that out if you would. Very good? All right. All right. So if you guys have anything specific that you'd like to talk to a recruiter about, please make sure that you reach out at 877-433-2537. And that's it for today. So I guess I will visit with you next week. We'll talk to you next Monday on our Facebook Live or next Tuesday here on YouTube. So take care, you guys. Appreciate